The next two questions were from the same post on the Starting Strength forum. And one of them had to do with, the first question had to do with gripping strength on the deadlift. And this particular lifter seemed to notice that as he was going through his linear progression, that his deadlift progress had stopped, and it was because his grip was failing out on all the sets. And usually my next follow-up question would be, are you using a double overhand grip still, or what type of grip are you using? He provided that to me, and saying that he had the double overhand grip, and he was hesitant to switch to the awkward mixed grip, or alternate grip, or over-under grip, as you might call it, and he didn't want to use straps. So my answer to that is you have to switch to something after a certain period of time. Double overhand is going to work for a while, but it is going to be the limiting factor. And a lot of lifters are really, really stubborn about this. A lot of new lifters are really stubborn about using a double overhand grip, and I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure where that comes from. It comes from kind of this purist perspective. It's the same guys that don't want to wear a belt. They don't want to wear, they want to go beltless and barefoot and no knee sleeves and use a double over. They have this hang up on doing everything in this, I guess, what they perceive as a very pure fashion. The problem is with a double overhand grip on deadlifts, you're leaving lots of weight on the bar, oftentimes several hundred pounds. When you're talking about a couple years of training, so your grip is going to be far outpaced by the strength of your legs and your hips and your back. So once double overhand grip is not feasible anymore, you need to switch. What do you switch to? Doesn't really matter. They're all stronger than double overhand. So the easiest for most people is an alternate grip or an over-under grip. It does feel awkward at first. To use the double overhand or to use the alternate grip. Everybody says that when they first grab the bars, it feels really awkward. All I can tell you is you're going to have to spend some time doing it. Start doing all of your warm-up sets with an over-under grip as well until it starts to feel more natural. And then you can go back to doing more of your warm-ups double overhand and then just switch for your heavier work sets. As far as which hand goes over, which hand goes under, I always tell people just go with whichever one feels natural. Sometimes what you'll see in a lifter is the grip that's under, the supinated grip. It will want to push the weight out in front, so there's like a little bit of a twisting effect on the bar, and usually it's the underhand side that wants to get pushed out in front. If that's the case, you can either try to switch the grip to the other way, okay, and see if that fixes it. You can just be conscious of it and keep the bar in tighter and not let it drift out in front of you. Or in certain circumstances, the alternating grip is not a good solution, because that twisting motion on the bar is somewhat severe, and that can get you hurt, and it can cause you to miss reps when the barbell is drifting out in front of you. So I've used over-under grip for years. I've never had a problem with it. Never hurt my elbow. Never hurt my bicep. I've never had a problem with swinging the weight out in front of me. Most people don't. Some people do. If that's the issue, then you need to learn and switch to the hook grip. The hook grip can be difficult if you have smaller hands, but it can still be done even with smaller hands. Paul Horn just put a great piece up on startingstrength.com about the hook grip with small hands, so I would encourage you to watch that. But the hook grip, also, there's a learning curve to it. It's not real comfortable at first, but you can get used to it. And then the third alternative is the use of straps. So in general, I don't really recommend straps for like an early intermediate lifter. I think you still need to kind of develop your raw deadlifting strength. But if you're not going to be competing in powerlifting or strength lifting, straps is preferable to having a weak deadlift. So, is your grip strength going to keep up? Not necessarily, but you'll still be actually maximizing the deadlift, which is not a grip exercise. The grip is a side effect. It's a hips, back, and leg exercise. So I would prefer that you didn't use straps on all of your sets. I'd prefer that you learn to either pull with a hook or an alternate grip and get strong actually holding the weight. Just to be a strong person, a grip is part of that. But certainly if you're doing volume on deadlifts, so certain programs that I provide to people where we do a higher volume of deadlifting, so we're doing like sets across or multiple sets of heavy deadlifts, things like that, I will recommend that the person actually does use straps, at least for the later set. So I'll tell them, let's say we're going to pull 3 sets of 8 or something on a deadlift. I'll say the first set I want you to do either hook grip or alternate grip to make sure that your grip strength is keeping up with your deadlift. But then for sets 2 and 3, go ahead and throw on some straps and save your nervous system a little bit, because doing too much work, real heavy pulls without straps, it does kind of fatigue your nervous system, I found. So I do recommend straps if you're doing a high volume. Otherwise, if grip is just really, really problematic and you can't find a solution, you're having a hard time with the hook, you're having a hard time with the alternate, obviously you're not going to stay with double overhand if you want to maximize weight on the bar. Go ahead and use straps. It's not really a problem unless you're competing in powerlifting or strength lifting or something like that, where you need to know that your grip can actually hold what you intend to deadlift. So that's my thoughts on that. But in closing, don't try to stay with double overhand for a prolonged period of time. It's not going to work.